What's up, guys? Exhaust. I'm going to change the shock absorbers on the Outlander today. I'm also going to change the sway bar links since I might as well. It'll make the process a little bit easy. And the reason I'm changing my shock is if you look closely there. Yeah, there's a hole in there. I decided just to look inside the wheel well after hearing some noises coming from the front right. Just a little bit of a rattle noise on rocky roads. So I'm changing out the shock absorber. So I'll just make a little fast how-to on removing the shock absorber. It's very easy, actually. And sorry that I'm not doing this demonstration with hand tools much. I really got to get this job done before it gets dark out here. It's about 5 o'clock and it'll be getting dark very soon. I don't necessarily know the state of your condition of your sway bar link, but this is how I did mine. I use a vice grip there to hold the inside of it so I can break the nut free. Sprayed the nut with WD because it was giving me a little bit of an issue. Then this is a ratchet wrench, 14mm, and I just hit the end with a hammer to break it loose, and from on there I can remove it. So these 3 nuts are the last ones I have to remove to drop it. So these are 14mm, so I use 14mm socket. Then this one was a 3/4. I use 19 for one side, and I use a 3/4, which is the same. The bottom nut for the sway bar link is a 14mm. So I used a ratchet wrench for that one. I use a vice grip, I use a hammer, and you'll definitely need a breaker bar and a half inch drive. And that's about it. That's basically all the tools you need. You may need a jack for underneath to get it back up. I'm just going to use some elbow grease to get it back up, to slide the new, when I put the new shock on, I'll be able to slide the new bolts through. Actually, you can get to that with a normal 1/2 inch drive will fit underneath. I thought it wouldn't. So you really don't even have to remove this or anything. I mean, this thing is pretty rusty. It ran fine though. I'm probably gonna have to change the rears. I think I do hear some clunking coming from the rear, so I'll do that at a different time. But it's structurally wise, I don't know how long this thing had. The spring seat looked like it could go within the next year or so. Who knows? Maybe a couple months. I don't know. But it looked risky, so yeah, I bought my parts from Rock Auto. I'll put a link in the description. I would go with like daily driver parts for your Outlander. Only economy if your vehicle's at the end of its life. You know, like the next place it's going to is a junkyard within the next 2-3 years. But if you're going to be driving it a little bit longer, I'll go with slightly better quality parts. But yeah, I'll put the links in the description. Now, you're going to do everything in reverse. So when I first started, I started with the knuckle, then I did the sway bar end, then I did these last. Now you want to do everything in reverse, so put these in first. I mean, that's just the way how I do it. When I did drop the old one, I did put the bottom of it, let me see, through this side. So the axle will be on the left side of it, and I slid it in front of the axle, but in between the brake line and the ABS line. I decided to use, I mean, I've always been this way. I always use the old nuts and hardware because as long as integrity is not jeopardized from rust, I like to keep everything even, like 14 millimeter instead of the new one being 15, all those weird sizes. And usually the factory has the best quality hardware, so yeah. I'm also wanted to make a mention, I did buy serviceable end links. These end links have grease fittings that go into them. This is just what I like. Since I do all the maintenance in my own vehicle, I like to grease the joints. It gives a greater possibility of life. There's nothing wrong with sealed units. At factory is sealed, so there's no issue with sealed ones. But I'm a DIY guy, so I buy greasable joints. My control arms are also greasable. I also want to make another mention. Just because I'm using a power tool to remove certain things, I'm not using the same power tool to torque anything. I do run things up, but I will still use a breaker bar to give me a greater feel of how tight things should be, and or a half-inch drive to figure out how tight things should be. If I can, I'll even post the torque specs for the suspension for any of you guys who are more critical and want to get things close to spec. So I'll post that also just to help out you guys. Now, if you decided to put your sway bar link on and you notice that it doesn't line up anymore, I forgot what I was going to say now. But yeah, there is a way to get leverage on it so it can come down. Depending on how your vehicle's leveled on the ground. Or I'm working on the passenger side right now, and it was sitting significantly lower than the left side. So all you have to do is basically level the vehicle. So jack up the sides to where the vehicle is even again, suspension wise, and the holes should get close enough to where you can easily just bend the joint just a little bit, just tilt the swivel a little bit to get it into the hole. But yeah, I'm pretty much done here. So hopefully this helps someone out. This is a decent. It's not hard at all. Depending on the age of your vehicle, it's usually straightforward. You may have trouble with these spindle bolts because they do require some strength there to break them free. So you may need some heat, so propane torch, and definitely some lubricant, so some WD. And yeah, alright, thank you guys for watching. Alright, I'm on the left side. Sorry to come back after closing, but the one nut there is being pain in the butt for the sway bar link, so I said that you will need, most likely would need some fire here, so I'm going to use that, and hopefully everything goes well. Now on this side, the sway bar link was a lot taller than the hole. The sway bar link was sitting up here. So this is what I did. I just put the breaker bar in between the sway bar and the axle. And I was able to put a little bit of leverage on it. And that's all I needed to do. And I was able to get a little bit in there. I should be able to run it. I I backed out a little bit, but I should be able to run it all the way in once I get a nut on it.